Yep.
Yeah, so let's start the session.
All
Uh,
right.
so hello everyone, welcome to the Tech Talk Design Talk, and I am Harideep, the president of Design Circle, a newly emerged club. And our speaker is Dawes Thomas. He's a graphic designer at WeWork, and it's to you know. I'm really bad at presenting stuff, so I'm sorry.
No worries, no worries. First of all, thank you for inviting me. And today, I'm just gonna try sharing my screen. All right. Can you all see my screen?
Yep.
All right. So today, I'd like to talk to you about kind of building a career in graphic design, and it'll especially be for people in a hurry, and all of us are. So I'm gonna keep it light. I don't think it would make sense for you if I preach 30 minutes about how to build a career in graphic design unless you can I can inspire you to take the first step towards it. Um, so I'll keep it light, and towards the end, you can kind of ask me questions if you have. So when you think of a career in graphic design, most of the time, um, you imagine it to look like this: really creative brainstorming sessions, um, making really cool stuff with hand, doing mixing media, painting, and all of that, and eventually earning money straight through the internet. And I've purposefully used stock photos for all of this because this is not something that happens in real life. Um, in all honesty, the design process looks much more like this. And this is after like an inappropriate amount of coffee and one day before the deadline. So, but passion is what drives all of us. And I feel like if you can make a career out of it, then that's hitting the jackpot. If you love what you do, then you'll never work a day in your life. I think Mark Anthony said that. And so I'd like to take you through three major keys you can take to kind of build a career out of graphic design. And I know that the people on the call, your passions might be very different. It might not just be graphic design. You might
Yeah.
be interested in UI, UX. You might be
Yep.
interested in maybe like animation or 3D, becoming a 3D artist. Whatever it is, these steps kind of roughly apply to everyone. And the first step would be building a personal brand. Personal branding is basically telling your story. So it's a good way to think of your work as a form of self-expression. So what you're doing when you're branding yourself is setting yourself apart from the crowd and giving your client a reason to pick you over another designer. Um, if you think about like musicians, certain musicians are known for their voice, and that's how they pick them to, I mean, give vocals for certain songs in certain movies. So everyone has their own, I mean, unique identity, and that's what you're trying to kind of convey through your personal branding. And this won't happen overnight, of course. And it's good to identify your strengths at first, and kind of somehow incorporate that into your work as well. So I'd like to kind of give an example of this really challenging project that I worked on. So this was a brand in Coimbatore who wanted to bring out a new range of healthy popsicles, and it was a completely new product, and the client had done a lot of research on the ingredients that go into it, and it was a dream project of his. So, I mean, there was a lot on my plate as to kind of see through his dreams into fruition. So, there was a lot of information that he wanted on the package, which is something that I wouldn't normally do. I like to keep things very clean and minimal. Although in this case, he wanted to convey a lot of information. So the kind of solution that both of us came up with is kind of using expressive typography, so that when you pick up the package, you'd spend some time kind of reading the content, because it's not just text, it's kind of text in motion. And it was a continuous back and forth between me and the client to kind of find a middle ground where I'm not sacrificing my personal brand or my style, um, to kind of make a very maximalist package. And clients love to see the personality behind the work. So a good example that I'd like to think of is Alicia Souza, very close to home. I think she has a very unique style of storytelling, and she takes very small incidents from her own life, and she's able to present it in a way that everyone finds it interesting. Um, and even New York-based artists like Christoph Niemann, he conveys messages in like uh, as minimum lines as possible, as minimum, I mean, in the most efficient way. So, yeah, even I like to tell stories through illustrations. I think that's something that I've been working on for the past 2 years, and it kind of helps me tell my own story. Um, I'd like to give you some background about me. I am like a really tall, lanky dude with big ears, and I'm a very friendly person, I'd like to think. So I like to convey that through my work as well, as being approachable, as being friendly, and something that I do is make relatable. Um, illustrate moments in my life that I feel like other people might resonate and relate with as well. Um, so you'll mostly find me in awkward positions like this, clicking pictures of the most random objects. And this is like a general theme that goes through my portfolio. And yeah, and the last point within personal branding that I kind of like to touch upon is um, every guide on the internet would kind of suggest you find a niche or kind of pick one thing that you're good at. But I'd say, like, as we're all very creative innately, and if we have multiple passions, it might be worth a try, kind of trying to combine two different, very different passions that no one else has done before. If you like music and design, then you could try something on that. Like, that's how um, lyric music videos came out to be so popular. So yeah, if COVID can have multiple variants, so can you. You can also kind of try out different things and experiment to find your sort of what clicks. And the second step on your road to success would be kind of building a portfolio. And I know this is something that we're all guilty of. It's a slightly touchy topic because we all have unfinished portfolios. And the thing with the thing with personal goals is that we don't have deadlines for personal goals. Um, Whereas, like, if you don't pay your electricity bill, your electricity gets cut. So you have consequences to that. But with a portfolio, I mean, you tend to procrastinate and keep it for the next day, the next day, the next day, and it never gets done. Um, and the truth is that your portfolio doesn't have to be a huge document, huge compilation of all your work. It can just be 10 of your best pieces that kind of show the varied skill sets that you have. And I'd like to say, whenever you're presenting a project in your portfolio, it's very important to have like the brief mentioned. This would be what the communication between you and the client, and the concept where you're kind of explaining the unique design solution that you came up with. And you can use illustrations or the sketches that you did to kind of back up your concept. And finally, one more thing that some people kind of miss out on is outcome. Um, I mean, if it's a project that's been done and maybe like 3 months down the line, you can kind of get feedback. It's very important to kind of take feedback from the audience so that you can correct your mistakes and make sure you don't make them in your upcoming projects. So be sure to include this in your each individual project. Have a brief concept and outcome. And honestly, the truth is, your portfolio is your single ticket to any dream job that you want. And this might be really promising to hear. I have a Bachelor of Design degree from NIFT, but you'd be surprised to know how little employers care about that. It's design jobs are purely given based on your portfolio, and so make sure that it's in tip-top shape. And you might find yourself kind of stuck in a vicious cycle where you can't build a portfolio because you've not done work, and because you don't have a portfolio you can't get work either. So what I'd like to say is you don't have to have real work. It's really good to kind of showcase hypothetical projects, or maybe say you want to redesign a Samsung ad or design your own app, whatever it is, um, something that would show your unique way of design thinking, or conceptualization. All of that can go into your portfolio, and having a better portfolio will help you quote better prices and get bigger clients because you're backing yourself up with solid work. And the last point that I'd like to mention is engage with the community and people who share your passion. Um, I mean, what I'm doing right now is pretty much that. Um,
Okay.
and Yeah, you can slide into DMs of other artists that you kind of appreciate, and engage with the community. And this will really help you understand the industry trends. It'll help you get jobs and other side gigs as well. And as a designer, it really helps you build a reputation and give you real credibility. Um, and sometimes I think the best part of me, um, I mean, the biggest advantage I've had with engaging with the community is they give me so much ideas back for my future work as well. So I have people kind of sending in their own experiences of how the client sets in the project at three, and
Uh, it's just my friends, they're just saying of the friends to join.
no, no, no,
So sorry.
it's
Yeah,
all
please continue. We just broke the flow. It's
no, no, it's
exciting.
all. I mean, I'll make a post out of this. I'm kidding, bro.
That would be epic. No, that would be really cool. I would troll her. So her name is Priya.
No,
Like
no,
we can troll her every time.
I mean, I think throughout the pandemic, all of us have accidentally left our video or audio on by accident and got into some trouble. So I mean,
Yeah.
I completely understand. It's all right. Um, so yeah, kind of yeah, and also one last thing about engaging with community is try to be aware of if you are interested in illustration, see what other illustrators are doing on Behance, on Dribble, and even if you're, I mean, initially, even if you're trying to kind of understand their techniques and kind of replicating their work, that's fine, as long as it kind of helps you build a skill. Um, and the last thing that I'd like to end with is making it a ritual. So these three steps that I mentioned, you'll keep coming back to them. You'll keep polishing your personal brand. You'll have to keep updating your portfolio, and even engaging with the community is like a constant thing that will happen. And I promise you, like if you do these three things consistently, you'd be surprised at how fast you grow. Um, I'd say like I started doing this maybe 6, 7 months ago, and I felt like it was a big boost. I've grown faster than ever. And something that I'd like to say is when you, as a part of making it a ritual, something that you can do is um, set apart time in your day for your personal goals. I mean, you'll have a million calendar invites for this meeting and that, uh, but see these as very important things for your career growth as well. So, I mean, I'm I'll expose my own personal ritual to you guys. I wake up in the morning and the first thing that I do is kind of go on Behance, go on Dribble, or I have like a browser extension called Musely that I use to kind of see what the latest design trends are and what other designers have posted. Um, and I do this first thing in the morning because that's when I'm most attentive. And even if I'm not doing, it seems as though I'm not paying much attention to it, but some of the techniques will come back to me when I'm actually doing real work. And another time of the day where I'm most focused is right before bed. And that's when I really do work on my passion projects and all the Instagram work that I do it like right before going to bed. And the thing is, you can have your own ritual. You can have time set apart according to your convenience. But I'd say, like, even if it's 10 minutes, do that every day. And if you've heard about atomic habits, 1% in the right direction every day will surprise you. Like over a year, that's 365% in the right direction. So, yeah, I'd like to end with that, and I'd like to take your questions.
So, guys, if anyone has any questions, just please feel free to unmute yourself. If you're also like not good at also English, also it's no problem. If you have any questions, just go on. I guess since no one has question, I myself have a question. Like
Sure.
I sometimes have this imposter syndrome because as you said, I don't go every day, but sometimes I go through all the Instagram designers and Behance, and that's when I saw yours also. I found out yours like that, the one which like make your logo bigger. That was the
Mhm.
one which caught my attention, and then I started looking at all your works, and then I followed you. So I tried to recreate it. As soon as I create that, I feel like, okay, these two look the same. And then I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not a really good designer. Maybe I'm just copying other person's thing. So, because like I have very small projects as of now, but whatever I have done, I just got those ideas from others. So, what could you say about that? How to overcome that thing?
Yeah, imposter syndrome is real, and it can really kind of set you back. So, I mean, I'd suggest instead of it's unavoidable as designers, like you will end up hating the work that you do 1 year ago, but think of it as, wait, if you don't like that, that means your taste has improved. You have become a better designer than what you were 1 year ago. Um, so, and when you look at other people's work, I mean, it's inevitable that you'll compare yourself with it, but kind of understand that they did not reach there overnight either. And it's not to imitate. I mean, it's more about setting yourself apart. So that'll come with personal branding. Like I said, when you're telling your own story, it's authentic. It won't be something that uh, someone else has done. So be very honest with the work that you do. Tell your own story, your own experiences, and yeah, I feel like that is very simple solution to imposter syndrome, and it'll happen over time. It won't be like overnight. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that. And guys, anyone else has any questions? Can you share your Insta ID? Yeah, sure. It's right there, dude. Dhruv.
Yeah.
I am, and then George Thomas.
Yeah.
So is Dhruv your friend or
Dhruv is my friend.
I thought of that. Is
He's a
he?
plant. He's a plant. Yeah.
Okay,
I
yeah,
put.
okay, but no, it's good. I found it as soon as someone asked the Insta ID.
Yeah.
Like it's literally right there, and people are asking.
Yeah. Yeah. Dhruv is stupid.
So, guys, anyone else has any doubts? So the thing in like my universities, they
Hmm.
started this specialization like with my batch. We are like Y19 batch. So they kept it as team development and UX design. They
Okay.
combined those stuff, those
Hmm.
both. And as UI UX design, our ma'am, like she's right there, Ramya ma'am. So she has helped us with the basic stuff. And we also
Okay.
had like evening classes related to design thinking, the empathize, define, ideate,
Hmm.
prototype feedback part. But
Yeah.
because of less people knowing the use of design thinking,
Yeah.
people ignore that. So yeah, again, they will use it as soon as they, get into jobs. But because of that, less people are aware of this whole design career. And that is the reason I have formed this club so that people like me who hate coding, like, they could did this like because of my seniors, I got into this part, this stuff, UI UX design. Just
Hmm.
wanted to help my juniors and my friends too. So, so that
Yeah.
is the reason for this circle.
Yeah, that's great. And don't worry too much about like how the college courses are kind of structured and everything, because I studied 4 years of design, and I think I learned more off the internet. No, no offense to NIFT, but I think it's when you actually like have that inner curiosity to learn. That's when you like go and actually do stuff. When you're being forced to study something, then even if it's good, it's just like a human nature to kind of uh, not accept it like that. Um, yeah, so I mean, forming a club, kind of like being curious and being interested, is like a really good first step. And something that I forgot to mention is keep a track of your work in progress. Keep documenting everything like from the start, and this will also help you understand how much you've grown. And yeah,
So there's one more question from Sobia, and sorry if I spelled it wrong. If you have no background of design,
yeah.
where do you start?
If you have no background of design, so depends on what you would want to do. If you want to get into graphic design, there are really good courses on Domestika. I would suggest Domestika because the courses are structured really well and it's by industry experts, and it's more focused on design than the other platforms like Skillshare, and it's much more in depth. Um, yeah, doing courses would definitely be one of them, and just having that curiosity, like follow other people's work, and you would naturally want to kind of, try out some techniques and all of that. So if you don't have a background in design, I'd say, yeah, try to learn a few tricks, and it'll be a slow process, but try to do something. I mean, you could have a technique of commitment. So say you're going to post something on your story every day at this time, and inevitably you'll get better.
So Sobia, if you are from KL University, you can join the design circle, and we all could learn together. So last week we just had a small boot camp on Figma. I just shared like the basics of it. So yeah, we will start soon. If there are people who are really good at Illustrator, they could start teaching others. I have no background in Illustrator, so I didn't touch that part. So okay, we got one more question from Rupesh Raj.
Okay. Wait, is the question in the chat or something?
Yeah, so I'll just read it out. Were you always sure that you wanted to pursue design? And if not, then what made you want to get into this industry?
Um,
It's better you switch to the that
yeah,
presentation,
sorry.
do the loop. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry. Don't want to see my face. Yeah.
No, I don't want to see my face. My hair is bad, really bad today.
All right. Yeah. Sorry, what was the question again? Once more?
Yeah, so like, were you always sure that you wanted to pursue design? And
Yes.
if not, what made you want to get into this particular industry?
Um, No, I was not always sure. I think my sister's also on this call, so she would know. Um, I was going for IIT coaching for about
Okay.
2 years, and because everyone was doing it, I was doing it as well. And it ended up that I really like to draw, and I came across my dad was starting a business at that time, and he needed like some branding for his company. So he actually hired an agency, and we were like looking at their work, and I got really interested in the kind of work that they were doing. So that's when I really got to know about this entire industry and that this could be a career. And then I did like a year of a little bit of training for NID NIFT entrance exam, and but I wouldn't say that you have to do NID or NIFT. Just having that, keenness to learn would be enough. And after I did start doing actual work, doing freelance projects, I felt sure that yeah, this is what's right for me. I can't imagine myself doing anything else.
Uh, so wait, this is the first time I'm hearing about NIFT.
Okay.
Is like so, like so my bachelor's is gonna get over next year.
Okay.
So I want to do master. So is NIFT, have any course related to UI UX design?
No, 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 no. No.
I mean,
And if you,
what would you suggest?
I think if you want to learn UI UX design, the best thing to do is like do an online course, um, because the tool is actually pretty easy to learn. It's about the amount of time you spend in research, into understanding what UI patterns are, um, that kind of help you. And I think NIF doesn't have it for sure. Um,
Hmm,
and there are courses in that talk about new media interaction and all of that. Um, but I think if you want to focus on UI UX, just that interest and like trying to learn online would do. There are plenty of courses and even like bigger courses by Interaction Design Foundation and all of that. Um,
hmm.
yeah, so I think that would be enough.
Okay. What about this human interaction design courses in the foreign universities such as Stanford and all?
Yeah,
What would you suggest about that?
I mean, those are really good. If you can, like, um, I mean, if that is an option for you, then definitely go for it. Um, human interact. I mean, I've heard about these courses, but I have not like gone through the course structures or any of that, honestly.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, like, yeah, my senior, like my seniors were in this Stanford program called as UIF.
okay, okay,
So these were the guys who introduced me to this whole design career. So they are going to this human interaction related courses in foreign universities. So I just
yeah,
wanted to know your opinion on it.
yeah, and obviously you'd get a much better exposure if you go abroad. I think still in India, design is still considered as an add-on. They're like, okay,
Mm,
let's make it look better more than functionality. That's the first thing that clients think of. But abroad, you get much more. There's a lot more research happening in the field, and there's a lot more work happening in general. So as you know, like the metaverse is coming, and
yeah, yeah.
just in interaction design, there are lots of opportunities opening up, and I think it's a really good field to go into. Yeah.
So we got one more question from Ashley. It's ASTLE. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong. So with regards to prep for NID and NIFT,
Yeah.
can you talk more about it?
Um, honestly, I feel like prep for NID NIFT is literally understanding the format of the questions. I don't know if I'm like qualified enough to talk about this, but it's about understanding the format of questions, and it genuinely depends on how your brain works that day when you're writing the exam. But if you're familiar with the kind of questions that come, like there'll be a lot of stuff on perspective, especially if you're writing NID, kind of understanding scale of objects, like how big is um, a pencil next to your hand. All of these things, minute things, kind of matter, and it's more about general things that you've observed throughout your life that they'll ask questions about. But it's good to understand the format of the question, like go through sample papers so that you're not like shocked when you see it for the first time. And if you can, I think if you need help in sort of drawing anatomy, like the basic structure of the human body, in learning perspective. I mean, if you need help with all of that, then you can definitely join one of these like coaching classes. That'll help.
Okay, so any other questions from the participants? So if there aren't any, just so that we can wrap it up. So I guess George, I guess you need to chill out after workload and all the stuff.
That's fine.
And it's a weekday for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
As a college student, I bunked today, and I didn't had any classes today, so I'm safe.
Fun, dude. Have fun while you can. Actually, working as a designer is also fun. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so like I have just started as a UX researcher for this company called ShopTrade.co. It's based in Bangalore only.
All right.
So today is my last day, so I've completed that. So yeah, so I'm just gaining the experience, but I enjoyed what I did there.
Okay. Okay.
So, so it's okay. I guess I started my career slowly, but
Okay.
I just want others to also help. So there's Rupesh Raj. As you mentioned, switching from pursuing IIT to design, what would you say was your biggest hurdle that you had to overcome?
Uh, I think for most people it would be family. Like everyone would be like, wait, you didn't do engineering, you didn't do medicine. What is this new course that you're going for? Um, but I was very lucky in terms of like my family was very supportive. They did that have their doubts, but they trusted me, so that was good. Um, a hurdle would be, I think there are very few role I mean, for me there were very few role models or people to kind of ask questions to when I was kind of making the switch. um, but I think it's changed a lot now. There are much more openings for design throughout the country, and a lot of communities on Facebook, Instagram, Discord, design communities where you can like kind of understand what will happen when you join one of these courses. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, so anyone else? Let's just give a minute, maybe 30 seconds. No one else, let's just wrap it up.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's awkward. I feel that vibe and no one's doing. So let's wrap this lesson up.
Sure.
First of all, I would, huge thanks to you, dude.
Yeah. No.
Cheta, first of all. So since you're a Malayali, I know a little bit of Malayalam. So thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Like I didn't expect, like like there are different clubs, and they were approaching like from LinkedIn and all. So like I loved your work a lot. You're
Thank
like expressing your situations in real life, in a creative and it's something which I never saw. Like that, that's cool. So no, I just like okay, let's just message you. And I mean like it was at that day I was like fully excited like shit. Okay, I'm gonna do a tech talk in person. Okay, great. So I mean
you.
like
Yeah, I feel
it was hell of a ride, and I wouldn't I'm really shocked that he did a this simple and simple presentation which would understand all the people
yeah.
and all. Now also I'm a little bit excited. That's why I'm stuttering and jumbling all the words.
No worries, man.
So it's crazy. I'm like, got 40 participants. I mean, like, that's great. So when I did the boot camp, only 10 people came, but yet I continued. Like, it's good. So yeah, four times more people.
Yeah,
And yeah, thank you very much, George.
yeah. Thank you.
And I thank every participant, each one of you for joining. And so yeah, that's the end of this tech talk, the graphic talk, design talk. Yeah, forget the name also. So thank you very much, George.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
yeah, thank you everyone. So we'll end this session now.
Yeah.
So see you all later. Bye.
Bye bye.